Okay, you have your NFL playoff predictions. So starting off, we have this is the AFC, and there's not many teams right now that are even in the hunt. A lot of teams are already eliminated. We kind of already know our playoff teams, so let's get on it. So number one seed, the one that gets the bye, I believe is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. They do not have an easy schedule coming up. They play with the Texans, Steelers, and then the Broncos. So if they lose two of those, I they might lose the number one seed, but I just don't see the Chiefs. They've been winning tough games throughout this season. I don't see them losing two of the three, so I have the Chiefs getting the number one seed. Number two seed is going to be the Buffalo Bills. They have a pretty easy schedule with just a bunch of divisional, the Jets and the Patriots coming up. So I expect the Bills to win out. There's not much. They just have a very easy schedule. I expect them to win out, but not. But since they're already two games behind the Chiefs, I expect them to stay at the number two seed. So there's the Bills. And the number three, it's going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers. This week's game, the Ravens versus Steelers will go a long way in determining who the divisional winner is. Steelers schedule not easy, but they do have a game lead. I'm not sure how tiebreakers work if they both split the games and then all those AFC tiebreakers. Not sure how that's going to work, but the Ravens also don't have a very easy schedule coming up. So I think the Steelers will hold on to the division and get the number three seed. Number four seed is going to be the Houston Texans. They already clinched the AFC South. I think they're too far behind the Steelers to catch them for the number three seed. So the Texans staying at number four. And you have your wild card team. Number five is going to be the Baltimore Ravens. Honestly, it's going to be either the Ravens or Steelers. I'm predicting the Ravens here. They play the Steelers and then they play the Texans again. So two tough games before playing the Browns. And I just don't think, unless I don't see the Ravens beating the Steelers this week. It's gonna Ravens are a very good team, but those they have some pretty bad losses. Their record's not the best, so they have to make the playoffs in terms of wild card. But they can be dangerous. I could see them making a run as a wild card team. Number 60 is going to be the LA Chargers. They just beat the Denver Broncos, and that's great for the playoff chances. Nine and 9-6 right now, I believe. Um, the Chargers, their offense it hasn't looked great, and I don't see them being a big threat on the playoffs. I think their offense needs another weapon besides McConkey. Their defense is good, but has been kind of exposed against better offenses. So I'm gonna so Chargers number 60 just based off their advantage over the Broncos right now, but I don't really see them making a huge dent in the playoffs. Number 7 seed is going to be the Denver Broncos. They have a two-game lead over the Dolphins and the Colts. Their schedule is pretty tough coming up. They have the Chiefs and then the Bengals next week. So decently tough schedule, but I believe they'll beat the Bengals. Their defense is too good, and their offense, Bo Nix has played good football. So there you have the AFC playoff picture, and a little bit more question marks is the NFC playoff pictures. And the number one seed is going to be a surprise, but it's the Minnesota Vikings. I know right now it's the Detroit Lions, but Detroit's defense is really concerning to me. And they're right now tied. I think it's going to come down to the final game of the season, the Vikings versus the Lions for that number one seed. And I just can't trust that Lions defense right now. The Vikings, their defense has been lights out. They're relatively healthy. Sam Donald is heating up, so I have the Vikings getting the number one seed. Number two seed is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles. For some reason, if these two the Vikings and the Eagles both win out, the Vikings will have the tiebreaker. Eagles, their schedule is not super duper hard either. And they've also been rolling. They're probably one of next to the Vikings, the hottest team in the NFL right now. Similar to Vikings defense, really good offense, pretty good, and heating up in the right time. So there you have number one and number two. I'm pretty sure those two teams will be number one, number two. Number three, the seed will be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay, they just looked at the most complete team in the NFC South right now. Schedule not super hard. The Falcons, they're kind of collapsing right now. Michael Penix is starting, and I just don't see him leading that team to a playoffs. The Bucks, their offense is finding their stride right now with Mike Evans back. Baker's playing his best football. Bucky is emerging. That defense, not great, not terrible. Number four seed, LA Rams. Rams also have a pretty easy schedule as well coming up. I expect them to win out. Their team similar to the Bucks is hitting their stride in the right time. Their offense looking a lot better. Their defense is still a concern to me, a very big concern. So I don't really see them making that big of a push in the playoffs due to their defense, but their offense is definitely looking good. And wild card, the number 5 seed is going to be the Detroit Lions. Like I said, I believe they'll lose the division to the Vikings, unfortunately, in Week 18. Their defense is just way too banged up right now, and it's starting to show a little bit. Their offense still one of the best though, so honestly, between them and the Vikings, that number 1, number 5 seed, it could be either of those teams. But the Lions in this prediction at number 5, um, their schedule that Week 18 game, I just don't see them losing to the beating the Vikings. And the number 6 seed is going to be the Green Bay Packers. I'm pretty sure Packers are just stuck in the number 6 seed right now. I don't think they can catch the Vikings or the Lions, and there's just no, and I don't think they'll lose that many games or any games near the end of the season to make them fall behind to the number 7 seed, the Packers. Good defense, good offense. Just unfortunately, they're stuck in the best division in the NFL. And then you have your number 7 seed, Washington Commanders. I believe they do have a game lead over the Seahawks. I think it's the team they're ahead by right now. Commanders, great rebuild so far. I don't see them making a huge impact in the playoffs. Their defense is still concerning to me. Their second half offense is somewhat concerning to me. But Jaden Daniels is making it work as a rookie. And the Commanders, they have a, I think they're in a firm place in number 7 seed. So there you have it, my NFL playoff predictions.